for your patience today in joining us for our party. So welcome to the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Sigma Omega Omega's chapters Caregiver ParTEA, where we are here to celebrate our silent superheroes, our caregivers. We are so excited today. We are going to give you a glimpse into the lives of some of our caregivers, as well as give you lots of information that will help you, our silent superheroes, to be even more super in being able to care for your loved one. It is our hope that after today, you don't feel alone and that you feel seen and heard. My name is Dr. Erin Redwine, and myself, along with some of my committee members, are here today to help guide you to get you the valuable information that you need to succeed. I will begin our program today with a prayer for the caregiver by Bruce McIntyre. Unknown and often unnoticed, you are a hero nonetheless. For your love sacrificial is God at its best. You walk by faith in the darkness of the great unknown, and your courage, even in weakness, gives life to your beloved. You hold shaking hands and provide the ultimate care. Your presence, the knowing that you are simply there. You rise to face the giant of disease and despair. It is your finest hour, though you may be unaware. You are resilient, amazing, and beauty unexcelled. You are the caregiver, and you have done well. And with that, I say good afternoon. Next, we will have greetings from our president, Deirdre Jackson, followed by our moderator for our conference, Ms. Nikki Bolton. Ms. Jackson?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Redwine, for that beautiful prayer for our silent superheroes. So I'm going to piggyback off of what Dr. Redwine has shared with us about what is a caregiver and how important you are. So a caregiver, well, it is a noun, which is a person, place, or thing, someone who dedicates themselves to the care of others, a person who does big things and small things with great love, someone who does what nobody else will do in a way that nobody else can, in spite of all they go through. Nurturing, understanding, smart, and extraordinary. Someone who does more than required and cares more than they're supposed to. Sometimes if you're lucky enough, chance brings about someone special to your life who makes it so much better. Thank you for all of your hard work and dedication, my dear caregivers, for giving 100% of yourself and being such a great caregiver. We appreciate all that you do, and most of all, we appreciate you. My name is Deirdre Jackson. I'm the president of the Sigma Omega Omega chapter, where I bring you greetings from the 199 members that serve Douglasville during this 30th year anniversary for our chapter. Thank you so much for participating in our program today. Thank you, Dr. Redwine.
Thank you.
The wheel time. Now, in Spin the Wheel, you are going to get a gift that we're going to send to you all. So anybody that has registered after 10 o'clock, I do apologize that you didn't make the list, but for the ones who did join, register before 10 o'clock today, happy wheel spinning. Tanisha, let it roll. Let's see who's going to be our lucky winner. All right, see, we have Miss Angelina Rawlings. Miss Rawlings, if you can, please drop your information in the chat so we can reach out to you and make sure that you get your prize. All righty, moving on. We actually have, guys, some panelists here today that is going to give us some information pertaining to this caregiver party that we're having. First, I'm going to introduce Miss Dr. Consuela Gilchrist of Douglas Senior Services. Dr. Gilchrist is a nationally certified psychiatric rehabilitation practitioner for the past 20 years. Since 2019, she has been employed by the Douglas County Board of Commissions as the county's Director of Senior Services. Welcome, Dr. Gilchrist. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bolton, for the introduction. As stated, I am the Gilchrist, Director of Senior Service for Douglas County. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I too have been a caregiver and truly understand the parameters of caregiving. First, I would like to extend a huge thank you to the wonderful women of Sigma Omega Omega for affording me the opportunity to participate in such a meaningful discussion. Also, I would like to salute the caregivers who shared their stories and caregivers all over the globe for the amazing care you provide to your loved ones. At Douglas Senior Services, we value you and we recognize your sacrifice and unwavering devotion. As such, our services are designed for both the caregiver and the care recipient. For instance, we offer free non-emergency medical transportation to and from appointments in the Douglas County area for older adults age 60 and over, and for those with a disability. Our home delivered meals program provides one hot meal per day to older adults age 60 and over. Our wonderful team will deliver the meal directly to your front door. This service is also free. We have what we call homemaker service. And what we do at Douglas Senior Services to help relieve both caregiver and care recipients' burden, through the homemaker service, a member of our team will provide 2 to 3 hours per month of in-home service that includes light housekeeping, grocery shopping, and prescription pickup. At this time, due to COVID-19, the in-home service has been suspended. However, grocery shopping and prescription pickup continues. This service is also free. Another spectacular program offered is our Congregate program. Our Congregate program takes place Monday through Friday at our Fairburn Road Center. Transportation is provided to and from the program if needed. Participants receive lunch and a plethora of socialization activities, including health education, out-of-town outings, trips to the grocery store, participation in dinner theater, and such. Currently, we are closed. That program is closed due to COVID-19. But again, this is a free service. Further, our Woody Fight Senior Activity Center offers a full array of activities and socialization opportunities, including, but not limited to, aerobics, yoga, pickleball, art classes, travel club, hiking club, dances, and many, many more fun and educational options to choose from. Sorry to report, but due to COVID, at this time, the Woody Fight Center is closed. But because of COVID-19, Douglas Senior Services received funding from the Atlanta Regional Commission to assist older adults in Douglas County with needs they may have as a direct result of the pandemic. If your loved one, age 60 or older, or someone you know has a specific need that's a result of the pandemic, please give us a call at 770-489-3106. Our fantastic team will assess the need and do our very best to help meet your need. If we cannot help, we will try to assist you with finding someone who can. You and your loved ones are the purpose for our existence. Please call us for assistance. We hear you and we want to help you. Again, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Gilchrist, for this valuable information. Our next panelist is Miss Sabrina Goodson. Miss Sabrina Goodson is a social worker for the Atlanta VA. She comes today sharing information on advanced care planning for our veterans and their family members. Welcome, Miss Goodson.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon. Thank you so much for allowing me a brief opportunity to discuss the program of Comprehensive Assistance for Family Caregivers with you today. At the conclusion of this overview, you will know the eligibility requirements for the program and how to apply for services. The program of Comprehensive Assistance for Family Caregivers, or PCAFC, provides resources, education, support, a financial stipend, and health insurance if eligible, beneficiary travel if eligible to caregivers of eligible veterans. The improvements and amendments under the VA Mission Act of 2018 went into effect on October 1st, 2020. And under this phase, the eligibility requirements were expanded, new benefits for designated primary family caregivers of eligible veterans were established, and other changes were made affecting this program. Veteran eligibility, so in order to qualify for this phase, the individual must be a veteran or a member of the armed forces undergoing a medical discharge from the military. The individual must have a serious injury which incurred or was aggravated in the line of active military, naval, or air service. Phase 1 expansion now allows for the inclusion of serious illness as part of that definition. This injury or illness must have occurred on or after September 11th, 2001, or on or before May 7th, 1975. So we're now able to capture our Vietnam era veterans and earlier. The veteran must have a single or combined disability rating of 70% or greater. They must need in-person personal care services for a minimum of 6 continuous months based on an inability to consistently perform an activity of daily living, which may include one or more of the following: dressing or undressing oneself, bathing, grooming oneself, adjusting any special prosthetic or orthopedic appliance that by reason of the particular disability cannot be done without assistance, toileting or attending to toileting, feeding oneself due to loss of coordination, of upper extremities, extreme weakness, inability to swallow, or the need for a non-oral means of nutrition. Mobility, including walking, going upstairs, getting into and out of bed, or navigating from a seated to a standing position. Or the person must be in need of supervision, protection, or instruction due to neurological or functional impairment that directly impacts their ability to maintain their personal safety on a daily basis. And some examples can include severe dementia, traumatic brain injury, or serious and persistent mental disorder. Phase 2 of the program goes into effect on October 1st, 2022. And under this expansion, veterans of all eras of service may qualify for services given a specific set of criteria, which will be released later. In order to qualify as a family caregiver, one must be 18 years of age or older. They must be the veteran's spouse, son, daughter, parent, step family member, or extended family member, or someone who resides with the eligible veteran full-time or would do so if designated as a family caregiver. Prior to approval, the caregiver will be provided with training and must be able to demonstrate the ability to assist the veteran with personal care functions required for everyday living. The application process consists of the veteran and their primary family caregiver completing VA Form 1010CG, which may be found on the Caregiver Support website. The veteran is allowed to designate a primary family caregiver, a secondary family caregiver, and a secondary family caregiver. However, only the primary family caregiver is eligible to receive a stipend if approved. Both the veteran and family caregiver will need to sign and date the application and fully answer all questions for their respective roles. As an eligible primary family caregiver, you may qualify to receive a monthly stipend, which is a monetary compensation paid to a primary family caregiver for providing personal care services to an eligible veteran enrolled in the Caregiver Support Program and who's receiving primary care from the VA. The stipend benefit is not intended to replace career earnings, and the recipient of the stipend payment does not create an employment relationship between the VA and the primary family caregiver. Legacy participants are those that caregivers and veterans who applied for and were approved for the program prior to October 1st, 2020. All legacy participants will have to be reassessed between October 1st, 2020 and September 30th, 2021 for continued eligibility based on the new and expanded standards. No matter when the reassessment occurs within that 1-year transitional period, all legacy participants will maintain their eligibility through September 30th, 2021. I want to thank you for allowing me to share this information with you today. And on my slide, I've included all of the ways to contact us for the application or additional support. And I also wanted to thank the ladies of Sigma Omega today, sorry, I'm nervous, for allowing me to speak about this wonderful program. And to all of the program participants, I hope that you found something useful from this information or something that you can share. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Goodson, for this valuable information. We truly do appreciate your time and coming on with us today. Next, we'll have our next panelist, Ms. Lorraine Ramey. Ms. Ramey is the Program Director for North Georgia Alzheimer's Association. Welcome, Ms. Ramey.
Thank you, Nikki. I'm very honored to be here, and thank you, Dr. Redwine, for providing me the opportunity to speak today, as well as Sigma Omega Omega. Part of my job, being the Program Director for the North Georgia area, is to provide, excuse me, resources and to tell about how the Alzheimer's Association can support caregivers. I have heard some very sad stories throughout my career with the association, and I am just in awe of these caregivers that are here today. So I absolutely salute you. But I also want to tell you how important it is to actually take care of yourself. Statistics show that about 35% of caregivers pass away before the person that they're caring for. So it's very important that you find a way to release your stress. I know the lady said that she found herself in the car crying. That is probably one of the best things that you can do, is just have that good cry, get it out, and then reassess your situation. So how the Alzheimer's Association can help with that is we have many ways to help. We have the alz.org website, and on that website, you will find our Alzheimer's Navigator. What that does is that helps you with questions that you may have about the disease. Our Community Resource Finder, that is where you can find resources in your community that are available for you to reach out to. We actually share this information with medical providers, businesses, home care agencies, home health agencies, hospice agencies. And they actually load their information up in our database, and this is all over Georgia. So if you're caring for your mother in Dalton and your sister's looking for resources in Savannah, you're going to be able to locate what's in your area. With the pandemic, we have went to virtual. So being virtual, we've had people all over the state because the Alzheimer's Association is in every state in the United States. We have a support in each state. And that's where the Alzheimer's or the Alz Connect comes in. That is kind of like a blog, a chat room where people go in and tell, you know, maybe how they convinced their dad to stop driving. It gives you tips and information. And you could be in a chat room with somebody in California and you live in Georgia. So we try to connect people based on what they need. The Alzheimer's and Dementia Caregiver Center, that mostly tells you about the help that's out there, how to navigate the disease, what is available in your state. The Safety Center, that is a resource where you can find information on how to keep your loved ones safe, how to have that hard conversation when you really feel that it's about time for the person with the disease to stop driving because they are going to hurt themselves, their spouse, somebody else in another vehicle. It also talks about the possibility of wandering and how to address that. In our safety center, it talks about something called Med Alert, and it's basically like a medical ID bracelet. You can get it in a bracelet, you can get it in a dog tag, or you can get it in a necklace. And you can get one for the person with the disease, and you can also get one for the caregiver. To get both, it's roughly right about $100. And then I believe that it's $35 a year membership fee for it. But the bracelet says that I'm the caregiver for someone that has dementia. So let's say the wife leaves home to go to the grocery store and she's in a car accident. But she can usually leave her husband or partner for, you know, about an hour. And so she gets in a car accident. She's kind of non-responsive, can't really communicate. They get her to the hospital and they see her bracelet that she has someone at home with dementia. They send out the first responders to make sure that the person with the disease is all right. They contact the family so that that person will be taken care of. It also, if let's say your loved one actually wanders and you call that Med Alert number on the bracelet, they will start the process of reaching out to the Alzheimer's Association, your local police department, start the process. I can't tell you enough, if your loved one wanders, don't assume that they're eventually going to find their way home. Time is of the essence. You have about 12 hours before it starts becoming dangerous. And if they're out there without any type of identification, then it becomes even more dangerous, or if it's bad weather. So that's one of the things that the Safety Center can do, as well as talk about medications, travel ideas if you're going to be traveling for the holidays, or maybe you're not going to travel for Thanksgiving, but you're going to travel for Christmas because of the pandemic. The Safety Center can give you some helpful hints. The helpline that we have is available 24/7, 365 days a year. So if your loved one's having a meltdown and you don't know what to do and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're exhausted, you can call that 1-800 number, and there is always a master level clinician that is available to give you tips, to give you strategies, to advise you how to maybe redirect that behavior or what to do. Sometimes, I'll just be honest with you, there's nothing that can be done. It just needs to run its course. But that's where you can get support through our support groups. All of our support groups right now are being held virtually. All of our support groups are not meeting virtually, but we have them all over Georgia. You can find that at the alz.org/find us, and it will tell you what virtual support groups that we have going on. They meet the same day and the same time every month. So you might be interested in a support group that meets at 6 o'clock on Mondays. So we have support groups that meet at 6 o'clock on every fourth Monday. So that way you know when you're going to meet. It's a little harder and a little more challenging virtually, but the purpose of this support group is for you to not feel alone. And during this pandemic, that has been a real struggle for caregivers and people living with the disease. Then we do educational programs. Before the pandemic, we did them face-to-face out in the community, but now we're doing them virtually, and we've had to get creative. I will be honest with you. Every month we do something called a lunch and learn. This month we did one on elder abuse, self-neglect, how to talk to your loved one if you feel like they're self-neglecting and they're in denial and not realizing what's going on. We also had law enforcement talk about their role in all of that. But our educational programs, we do on behaviors, we do on communications. We're fixing to do one on the effectiveness of aromatherapy. In January, I will be doing one called Healthy Living. I'm going to have a physical therapist be part of it to show us exercises that the person with dementia can do, as well as the caregiver to relieve stress. I'm going to be doing one with a doctor that talks about the interactions of over-the-counter medicines with actual medication. So we'll be doing that in January. So our educational programs are very valuable to caregivers. Then if you're a professional, we also have training at training.alz.org, and those are free. You do not get CEUs with those, but it is valuable information. And then also I provided Dr. Redwine with some information about community resources. Most of my counties that I cover are covered by the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission, also known as the Area Agency on Aging. And they do a lot as far as home care services, Meals on Wheels, and adult day programs. VA, Aid in Attending, can help pay for day services, as well as a CCSP program, which is a community support program through Medicaid. And you can reach them at that 1-800-759-2963. And if they don't cover your area, they will put you in touch with the Area Agency on Aging that does cover your county. Also, the Department of Family and Children Services, a lot of people don't know this, but there is a Medicaid program. There's actually 3 Medicaid programs based on income that will help you pay your Medicare premium that comes out of your Social Security check every month. And of course, they also do food stamp applications. Dr. Redwine will be sending you the income limits and more about those programs, but those you do apply for at your local Department of Family and Children Services. Whatever county you live in, that's where you would need to go apply. But you can also apply online, and basically you just Google Georgia Medicaid programs and it pops up and it allows you to do that. But there is a hard copy of the application that I provided to Dr. Redwine as well. So thank you for allowing me to be here. I love what I do. I'm passionate about caregiving. I'm passionate about being in the community. We are always looking for volunteers. And if you have an organization where you would like for us to come and speak and educate your group about resources, please reach out to to me or the 1-800 number, and they will get you in touch with me, or Dr. Redwine can get you in touch with me. Thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you, Ms. Ramey, for that valuable information here. Our last finalist we're going to have today is going to be Dr. Lois Ritchie. She's an AARP ambassador. Dr. Ritchie served on the Executive Council of AARP of Georgia and is the spokesperson for many programs and services offered through the AARP. Welcome, Dr. Ritchie.
Thank you. Sorry, I forgot to unmute. Thank you for inviting me, Erin. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you about something that AARP is very dedicated to. Caregiving is probably one of the biggest projects that we undertake each year. And as you can see on the slide, I was going to read it to you. I know that you can all read, but this meant an awful lot to me when I read it, and I thought I'd share it. When life as you know it stops and all your energy goes to caring for someone you care about, caregiving has become your new career, and you adjust to a new normal. You're really trained to do all that you're doing. You're a caregiver. And this, as I think about what each of the speakers said and what we're all looking at as far as caregiving, just made me think again of how valuable my role as an AARP volunteer and as the caregiver ambassador for AARP in Georgia is. I've been a caregiver. I've lived in many parts of the country and had to share caring with family members at home. I heard somebody say distance caregiving, and that's very difficult when you live far away and you want to be a caregiver, especially if you think about what's going on now with the virus and us wanting to be there for everybody and knowing we can't. I'm sure right now with the holidays coming up, for me, I'm a caregiver for my husband who's being treated for cancer. And we were told, don't go home, don't have anybody here. And if you love the holiday, you know how it feels to every one of us when we have to Zoom our family members. And then a friend who was thinking she was caring about me and my sadness said to me, she says, it's better that you spend Thanksgiving alone than I see you for Christmas. So think about that. And when we think about not being with our family, of how we're protecting everybody. Caregiving to me, Rosalind Carter said it very well. All of you have heard this number of times. There are those of us who've been caregivers. There are those of us who are currently caregivers. There are those of us who will be caregivers, and there are those of us who need caregivers. And when I think about caregiving, I as much as I respect, and in my classrooms I teach about aging, I also realize that for each of you, caregiving could have a different meaning. For some of you, you are grandparents caring for grandchildren. For some of you, you have suffered through a disability or a child born with a disability that you are taking care of. Caregiving takes on so many different roles for so many of us that I hate to just block it into one category, because as much as I know that as we get older, caregiving becomes that issue for many of us, caregiving is an issue for everybody every day of your life. You're caring for somebody, you're concerned about somebody. AARP has multiple resources. I heard the other speakers offer their many resources, and I listed all of the resources that I take advantage of in my sharing the caregivers' needs. Georgia's AARP has an outstanding resource collection. Through the national, you can just go to aarp.org and put in caregivers, and you will get information about veterans' needs, about disabilities, about programs that each of your other speakers has offered you. There are so many different ways that AARP can be a resource. But if I could step back, for those of you who are in the early stages, I would encourage every one of you to download the Prepare to Care. Prepare to Care is a booklet that AARP has had out for several years. They've updated it, and I'm in awe of it. I use it all the time. I teach gerontology at Kennesaw, and I use it in my classroom. But if all of you would just get that or make it available to a friend or a family member who you know is going to be a caregiver or is in the early stages of it, get that book or at least look at it online, and you'll see the things that you've got to look at. And yesterday I had the opportunity to be a speaker at a caregiver conference. And we spent a lot of time and a lot of questions were asked about caregiving and what can they do and how can they do it and how am I going to take care of thee and me and what can I do when I no longer want to take care of you. And I told them that at one of my support groups, a lady called me on our virtual and she said, Lois, you know, remember we talked about how sometimes you just can't take it anymore? She said, yesterday was one of those days that I was going to get the pillow. So just think about that, and all of you, however you want to imagine it, realize that on any given day, you want to get a pillow because you've just had it. You can't take it anymore. And let's put that figuratively, not literally, because nobody's going to kill anybody. We're just getting that feeling that I just can't take it anymore. And that's what every one of us as a caregiver's got to know. You've got to take care of yourself. You've got to know when you can't do it anymore, and then when you need help. And even if it's your next door neighbor who you don't know real well, get to know them and say, I just need you to come over here for 5 minutes because I've got to go in the bathroom and lock the door and scream. So do something and take care of yourself. Those are my gifts to you as a caregiver and as a speaker on the subject of caregiving, and one who truly believes that caregiving is so important for every one of us. And think about it, every one of you who is on this Zoom, you're all caregivers. When you think about what am I going to have for dinner tonight, you're caring about what your family is going to eat. When you're worrying, are the schools going to close? What am I going to do with the kids if schools close again and I've got to find help for me? You're a caregiver. If you've married, if you've mothered, if you've fathered, if you've been parenting, or if you've been the child, you are going to be a caregiver, or you are a caregiver. If you have a child with special needs, you're a caregiver. If you're a grandparent who's been given the added responsibility of taking care of grandchildren, you're a caregiver. Find help and get somebody to give you some resources when you need them. And in addition to that, I'm going to add AARP is a wonderful resource. The Atlanta Regional Commission, as I heard somebody mention, please keep in mind they have the Empower line. The Empower line, you can dial it, any one of you. It's 404-463-3333, or you can go to atlantaregionalcommission.org's Empower line. They have 24,000 resources for any questions that you might have to ask. Every one of you in your respective areas, because I don't know where each one of you is from, has an area agency on aging. The AAAs are all over the state, and you can take advantage of any one of them. Somebody will answer your questions and help you out. And lastly, excuse me, I didn't add something that's very important to me that I utilize a lot, is the Rosalind Carter Institute for Caregiving. You can go online to rci.org and you will find all kinds of information on caregiving, on programs for caregiving, and how to deal with multiple problems that you might have in caregiving. And then the one thing that every one of us can take advantage of, and please don't say you don't have a computer or you don't know how to do it, call the library. And right now, because the libraries aren't doing a lot of business, somebody there will go online and help you with your questions. But go to Google and Google anything, just put in caregiving. And then lastly, I would say that the government, our legislature, has now put in place several bills that we're hoping will be passed. And I'm going to look them up and make sure that I give you the right information here. But I just want you to be aware that under the Supporting the Older Americans Act in 2020, there are a number of programs that have already been legislated to help caregivers. And also there are bills now being put out that will give caregivers support. And I would urge you to look them up, the REACT bill, the RAISE bill. They are all going to help us as caregivers. If you have questions, I would appreciate them. I'm much better at interacting and answering questions because caregiving belongs to all of us, and every one of you has a different need and a different way of approaching your caregiving. So don't hesitate to either open up and ask me questions or ask Erin to help you. I'd be glad to help, but I thank you for giving me the opportunity to join your tea party. And I'm from Boston, and tea parties are not unusual for us to have when we don't know what else to do with our time and it's too early for a drink. So I enjoy talking to you, and I enjoy the opportunity to speak to anyone about caregiving. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ritchie, for all of that insightful information that you have given us. Everybody, let's just give our panelists a round of applause. Just give our hands. Just thank you guys so much for all of the information you have given us. It is valuable information that we do have. What we want to do too, get your cups again. We're going to do another salute. So this time, guys, I'm going to salute our panelists for the information that they have given us, valuable information that we can use within for ourselves as well as for our families. And just thank you all for just coming here, sharing that information with us. So everybody take a sip. Cheers. We salute you all as well for the hard work that you all have done for us. So guys, as we prepare for our next spin the wheel, if you have any questions, please drop those questions in the chat. We will get to the question section in just a minute. I do want you all to put your questions in here so our panelists can answer those questions for you. All right. Tanisha, can we go ahead and bring this wheel back? Now you must be present in order to get your prize, okay? All right, Carissa Jennings, are you on? If you are on, please drop a line in the chat that you are on.
She is there. So Carissa, can you put your information in the chat? And we will have to spin again because Miss Rawlings either left or didn't make it to the meeting. So if we could just go ahead and spin again.
All righty, let's see who's going to be our next winner. Ooh, Miss Stephanie Smith. Miss Stephanie Smith, if you are still on with us, please drop your name in the chat. Have we confirmed, Miss Smith? You're on. Unmute yourself, Miss Erin, Dr. Erin.
I don't see Stephanie in the chat, so let's go ahead and spin again.
All right. All right, Dinette Billingsley, are you on? You are on. Congratulations to you. Please put your information in the chat. All right, as we prepare for questions, Miss Hilda, are you ready for the questions? Do you have the questions prepared?
I am.
All right, so we're going to turn it over to Miss Hilda so she can ask the questions to our panelists. Go ahead, Miss Hilda.
The first question is for Dr. Redwine, and the participants would like to know, will there be access to the slides and information shared?
Yes, great question. We will definitely be able to send you all a copy of the slides. Some of the information that was mentioned that was not on the slide, I do plan on it attaching that to the information that you all will get. So thank you very much for the question, and we will get you that information.
Our next question is for Ms. Goodson. Is the veteran spouse eligible for benefits?
So that depends. If the spouse is caring for the veteran, yes, they are actually eligible for possibly for insurance, for the monetary stipend, and for clinical supports. And so I definitely encourage, if you feel that you fit that category, to definitely contact the toll-free number that's on the flyer or the website, because we are there 8 to 8 every day to help with that.
A comment was given that Douglas Senior Center is able to possibly assist with the purchasing of the bracelets. And one of the other questions, are there any respite services for parents of children with autism?
This is Lois Ritchie speaking. I would recommend that anybody with that problem look into services for people, any service that might provide help for anybody with disabilities. Through the Americans with Disabilities Act, there are organizations that provide those support services. There are a number of churches that have made those services available, and through AARP and Rosalind Carter Institute, I know that if you Google that for that information, you'll be able to find some place that might be able to help you. I'm sorry that I can't give you specifics, because right now with the virus, so many services have closed their doors.
And can any of the panelists share information about long-term care insurance and why it's important?
Again, I will just share with you that I heard one of your speakers earlier say something about the cost of it with each age increment. My thoughts on it and what I have read and shared with others is that long-term care insurance has changed a lot since its inception 25 years ago, because we've gotten older. You know, well, all of our baby boomers are going to be 65 in another 9 years. And we're looking at a population that has taxed insurance companies, and all of the wonderful programs that were incorporated into long-term care insurance have had to be reevaluated, because no longer can they afford them. We're living to be 90 and 100 years of age. And your insurance, if you took it out 25 years ago, is giving you one terrific benefit. So I would speak with someone who's knowledgeable in the field of long-term care and be aware of it, that some people have determined that there are other resources that could be as beneficial, and putting some money away in a special fund wouldn't hurt, just to be able to have that discretionary fund when you need it. I'm sorry I can't give you specifics, because they vary from company to company, but overall, there has been a major plan change in long-term care insurance because we're aging. I don't know whether that's good or bad, but I'm very grateful.
Ms. Ritchie, you are absolutely right. They do not write what we call Cadillac policies anymore. Used to, those policies, 15, 20 years ago were wonderful. Now they have what they call elimination periods, and those periods usually start about 90 days. That means that you have to pay for this service for 90 days out of pocket before they'll even pick up. Yes. And they have lower coverage than they used to as a daily rate. And then it is not for the lifetime of the person, it's for the lifetime of the policy. So the policy may only last 3 or 4 years. So that's one of the things, if you do talk to somebody about a long-term care policy, they're very expensive now. So it's like Ms. Ritchie said, it might be more important that you take that money that you would be paying for that long-term care policy and put it into a special account, some sort of retirement account or something of that nature, instead of that policy, because you still have your money if you put it in a savings account or an investment fund. But if you don't ever use this policy, you're not going to get any money back. So,
Exactly.
so
Yeah, there's
yeah.
so many caveats in long-term care now. 20 years ago, when it was included in my textbook, it was a whole different picture from what it is today. Not to say that it couldn't be benefit. You and those of you who got it years ago or had family members getting it years ago, you still get those benefits. It's newer policies that are changing so much.
That was our last question, but there also is a reminder in the chat to complete the survey.
Thank you, Ms. Hilda, for giving our questions. Yes, guys, we encourage you all to do our surveys. We truly, truly will love feedback from the surveys. I'm going to have our closing remarks from our Vice President, Ms. Jefferson.
All right. You are a treasure, a modern day angel, a warrior when times are tough, a soothing balm when there is pain, a shining light when there is darkness. Thank you to the members of Sigma Omega Omega and our community guests for attending our Caregiver ParTEA today. Thank you for sharing your stories today, because this was so moving and informative. Your vulnerability is appreciated, because we never know if we will one day become a caregiver or be taken care of by a caregiver. To Dr. Erin Redwine, thank you for your leadership this afternoon. To Ms. Sonia Bolton for being the beautiful host for the ParTEA. To Ms. Tanisha Moe for holding it down on the technology side and making sure we stay connected. To the entire Target 2 Women's Health Committee members, you ladies are awesome. Again, thank you for joining us today for our ParTEA. Please, again, take time to take the survey. It only has 6 questions because we value feedback so we can improve and bring excellence programs to you in 2021. Again, thank you. Have a blessed Thanksgiving, and remember to stay safe and wear your mask.
All right, well, we'll have our closing remarks from Dr. Erin Redwine.
What an afternoon. I am just so thankful. I'm thankful for our caregivers for being transparent in their testimonies. I'm thankful for our presenters for all the valuable information that they have given. I'm thankful for my Target 2 co-chairs, technology, and the health committee, for everyone who has kept me sane and helped this program to run successfully and be a success. I could not have done it without you. So I thank you all. But most importantly, I want to thank each one of you who joined us today. It is our hope that we gave you some valuable information that will help you care for your loved one. There are millions of silent superheroes out there. Please know that you are not alone. Please don't be afraid to ask for help. And number 1, please don't forget to take care of yourself. Can you go to the next slide? Maybe COVID has been a problem for you. This information Mr. Ray presented and gave us access to, if COVID is an issue and you need someone to talk to, here's a toll-free line where you can get that emotional support. Until next time, be safe and be strong, and we thank you. Oh, and you will get a copy of the slides and the information presented today. So again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a good day. We're going to end our meeting now.